Hi everyone. Today's not going to be your standard getting ready to sell the house and buy a farm video. It's not going to be one of my new nursing hub videos. Today is because I am furious. Not just furious for myself, but furious on a broader level. I received a text from AGL saying, why don't you go and read your own meter and then you'll get an accurate bill. So I read my meter and I plugged the figures into the app and it said your bill of $576 will be issued within the next 3 days. Maybe I'd read the meter wrong. Sure, that had to be it. So this was after business hours, so I rang AGL the next morning, and it seems that they changed my meter 12 months ago and they replaced it with a new meter. That's all well and good. I didn't get a bill for the final reading, and I kept on getting estimated bills on the old meter. So then I got an actual meter reading, and my bills have historically been for gas between $120 and $200 a month. Now, when I was on the farm, spent 3 years purely on electricity, so I had no idea what was going on with gas. And we'd heard about all the price increases and how people couldn't afford to heat their homes, and so I thought that $100 a month was what you paid. That was the first mistake. Never assume. Never ever assume. The old adage, it makes an ass out of you and me. Oh my God, that is so true. So I rang AGL and I spoke to a lovely fellow. I'm not going to name him on this. And he said, look, none of it makes sense and your bill shouldn't be anywhere near $576. So he suggested that I take a photo of my meter and I send it into AGL with an explanation and a bit of a history. So I did that. Haven't heard anything back from them, and I expect that to take a little while. So this lovely fellow agreed to put my account on hold while it was being sorted. So in the meanwhile, I jumped on a comparison site and plugged in exactly the same figures, exactly the same usage figures that I had just had on my current bill, my $576 bill. And the comparisons ranged from $45 to the most expensive comparison of $110. They have charged me 10 times. 10 times, folks. 10 times what their industry peers are charging people. So, like with most of these comparative sites, they ask you to put in your phone number and your email and all that sort of thing. I thought, great, I'm going to get spam as well. And within 15 minutes, I had a phone call, and I expected it, but it was a lovely lady on the other end of the phone, and she was asking me what discounts I got. And I said, I'm not getting any discounts. She said, not even a pay early discount. I said, no, I'm not getting any discounts with my gas account whatsoever. So AGL set up my account 3 years ago. They also transferred my electricity. Now, the electricity was interesting in itself. Oh, in fact, no, it was the gas. AGL couldn't put the gas on because the previous people hadn't paid the bill and the previous company capped off the meter. Now, being a new person, and that I didn't have anything to do with the old people. This was a new house that I'd bought. Well, it was new for me. It was actually pretty old and decrepit. But I had nothing to do with the previous owners. AGL refused to uncap the gas. Refused. We had to go through the ombudsman and make them uncap the gas. We were 5 days without heating and without hot water. It wears really thin on your friends when you are knocking on their door every day saying, "Excuse me, can I borrow your shower?" My friends were really, really good about it. Really good about it. But I shouldn't have had to have done it. So the same company decided that I should be paying full fees for the privilege. No discounts. And I thought about it. What is it that makes me not get the discounts? Is it that I'm not entitled to them? I wouldn't think so. I don't think there's anything particularly special about me as opposed to everybody else who's getting discounts. Is it that they don't think I'm worth giving the discounts to? Maybe my gas bill isn't high enough. Well, I'm sorry, $576 is high enough. And then I thought, is it because they just want the money? Sorry. Do they just want the money? Do they deliberately not offer discounts to people? Is this actually a business strategy? And a lot of companies have that strategy, that they don't offer you things, they don't fix things, they don't offer you solutions until you ask. So you end up paying top dollar through the nose for something that you could have got quicker, cheaper, more expediently, all of those sorts of things. And then I thought, and this is more realistic, the rest of it was just me ranting, that they actually just don't care. That I am an account number. I'm not Wendy. I'm not the person with 2 people living in a house that should not have a bill of $576. I am an account number, and that account invoices for gas that is delivered by somebody else. So I'm not sure if people are aware, we actually now have a system where we have gas suppliers and gas invoices. So the people who supply the gas don't bill you. They bill the company like AGL, Origin Energy, Lumo, all of those sorts of things. They bill those companies at a bulk rate. And they then on-bill, and then the company that you go with on-bills the consumer with a variety of discounts and things to entice them into going with that particular company. But these are really big companies. There's probably, I don't know, maybe 10 gas companies in the entire state of Victoria. Now that's not really a monopoly. It's probably even a step down from an oligopoly. Oh, that's my commerce background coming back to bite me. But it is a very small market, and they will all be very similar. And if I switch over to a different company, who cares? They're certainly not going to care. And so the only joy I am going to get out of this scenario is if they compensate me. I can't see them compensating little Joe Blow out in the backwaters. I can't see them doing it, or even wanting to do it. I can't see them giving me a peace offering. I can see them trying to take legal action against my $576 bill. Now, every time I get a bill like that, I look at it and I go, well, that's the concrete stumps under my deck. You know, I can't afford to keep having the gas connected at this rate. So do I have it disconnected? The gas I can have disconnected. I can't have the electricity disconnected. And this is just stupid conversation because I don't want them disconnected. I want the service. But I also don't want to have to pay gold-plated prices for it just because they think I'm an insignificant number. That is just... that's just a really poor way to do business. So, in the event that I don't get any joy, I will be taking it to the Ombudsman. I will be asking for compensation in line with what the other companies would have charged me for the same level of usage. So if the other company's maximum $110, even if I said $80 a month for my gas bill, I've got a $50 a month credit coming back to me and a $450 credit coming back to me for this month. Over 3 years, they owe me a bit of money. That's nearly $1,000. So I am angry. And I'm a forthright person. And I said at the beginning, I'm not just angry for me. I'm angry for every other person who is going through this company, AGL Energy, I'm angry for every other person who is going through AGL Energy who does not have the intestinal fortitude to stand up against the big companies. And I'm talking about our elderly. I'm talking about people who don't really understand finance, and a lot of people just don't understand numbers. You know, that's not what they do. I've been fortunate in that I've spent 30 years in finance. I understand how these sorts of bureaucratic things happen. I go to elderly people and their homes are freezing because they can't afford to put the heating on. Is this what AGL is doing to our elderly? I'm more than angry. I'm distressed for the vulnerable in our community who don't have a voice against these bigger players. And it's not right. And it's not fair. We live in a social democracy where things at least should have an element of fairness to them. But we're leaning more and more to the right, where people are just out for the money. and it's not right. So my apologies for my rant. I do have another Nurses Hub video coming. If you're interested in following my journey, it is going to take a long while, and a good portion of this is for me. If you want to come along for the ride, please feel free. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the bottom of the window. All you need is a Google account, and it's all free. All right, so thanks very much for watching.